Good morning, all. I, Sharani Dhoni, a faculty member of Travel and Tourism Department under School of Management Science. On behalf of Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad University of Technology, I welcome you all in our webinar. Thank you, MAKAUT, West Bengal, VR Academia, and Drone Institute for organizing this. And a special thanks for our media partner, ABP Education. Today, our session is all about how to build a VR air tourism career with the help of emerging technology. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Dr. Shoikat Moitra, and other dignitaries going to share some important information about industry, related technology, as well as availability of career scopes in the field of VR air tourism with you all. Due to this pandemic, we are unable to travel physically. VR tourism helps us to travel virtually and fulfill our psychological needs, which are associated with travel-related pleasures. VR tourism plays an important role for destination promotion as well. Not only pleasure and destination promotion, VR tourism also provides another job avenue for our today's youth. In our webinar, we have with us our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Dr. Shoikat Moitra, as keynote speaker. Professor Dr. Shoikat Moitra is presently working as the Vice Chancellor of Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad University of Technology, West Bengal.
Okay, that is sufficient. You need not to continue further. One line is enough.
Okay, sir. We have an esteemed pool of panelists for today's session. Let me introduce them one by one. Dr. Ponikanto Mishra, former Regional Director, Archaeological Survey of India. He is an expert on Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. He has written a pioneer book named British Atrocities on the archaeologist Rakhaldas Banerjee. Now he is associated with the Department of Travel and Tourism under School of Management Sciences. Sir is going to share with us about VR in archaeology. Mr. Pradeep Chopra is Chairman and Managing Director of Kolkata-based PS Group of Companies and Chairman of Institute of Leadership, Entrepreneurship and Development, ILEAD. Sir is going to share with us about heritage preservation with AirVR. Mr. Jayaprakash Shaw is former Regional Director of Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. Mr. Shaw has served various capacities in the ministry, both within India and overseas. Now he is associated with Department of Travel and Tourism under School of Management Sciences in the capacity of head of the department. Sir is going to share with us about VR in tourism education. Our next speaker, Mr. Anjan De, BE in Electrical and Electronics Engineering. He has more than 18 years of experience in technical consulting. He is currently the CEO of VR Air Academia, Kolkata. Sir is going to share with us about VR in tourism industry. Our last and fifth speaker, Mr. Monish Mundul, is the technical head of Drone Institute and he is a certified drone pilot. He is an electrical engineer and working with the domain of drone for last 3 years. Sir is an expert for aerial photography and served different government and private sectors. Sir is going to share with us about drone application in tourism industry. Now I would like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Dr. Shoikat Moitra, to officially inaugurate the webinar and share his thought on today's program and enlighten us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to all of my colleagues and friends, Mr. Chopra, Dr. Mishra. Dr. Mishra, why you have kept your video off? Mr. Shaw, Dr. Mr. Somir Mukherjee, and the experts, Mr. Monish Mandal, Mr. Anjan De. So it's nice that something new we are trying to introduce and trying to implement from our system. This is the time, right, where we have to innovate many new things. Because of this adversity as created by this pandemic scenario worldwide, we need to relook in each and every aspect from different perspectives and from multiple perspectives. So one of the interesting area is this tourism, travel and tourism. Now we all know that because of this, the problem, this worldwide, of this virus infection problem, virus infesting problem, movement is restricted. We are not in a position to take a travel as we were doing earlier. And human being, they're fond of traveling. Generally, the common man, they like to travel and they like to explore new places. They like to enjoy the serene and pristine beauties of different places, so cuisines of different places, to get this taste of cultures and all these things by visiting many places. Now this has been restricted because of this scenario, and which is not in our hand. But there are certain things which is in our hand. The thing is, now we can apply our mind. We can apply our imagination and innovation. How to get the taste of all these things while confined at our home. And there, the technology has come up in a big way in supporting many of our traditional and year-long activities from different angles and from different ways. Augmented reality, virtual reality, and this particular area, this is not a new thing. This was there from few years or few decades. Of course, the interest has been renewed right now, and of the late, because of this this penetration of the subjects in entertainment, particularly film and games and in other areas. In society, some of the at least certain level of awareness and interest was created before the pandemic scenario also. But in this situation, now we have to look, we have to use this potential of this area to make many things enjoyable virtually. And travel and tourism is one of the areas where this particular these subjects or particular technology can be of great help in getting the taste of this travel and tourism. Maybe people may say that it is something like that to take the in Bengali it is called dudher shad ghole mitano, or to get the taste of milk from taking the April lassi. What is the English of ghole? Maybe lassi, I do not know. Yeah. Taking lassi, but however it is, technology is moving fast, and there are many things. There are that in here the word is time and again repeated, immersive, and that particular feelings, immersive feelings, may be conducive enough to enjoy the taste of travel and tourism. And this is this needs to be this developed in a structured manner. Right now, what we are thinking, maybe this today's program is a curtain raiser, but our intention is to develop a structured program of definite duration with a definite syllabus, course patterns, all these things, so that we can have numbers of professionals who can be engaged in taking these subjects further. Because you see that as because of this scenario, because of this technological intervention, because of this pandemic scenario, because of so many things, existing jobs are getting depleted and abolished. At the same time, the responsibility is on us is to create more and more avenues for potential jobs. And this can be one of the areas where we can have a large number of professionals and these trainers for nurturing the subjects, for making these subjects of commercial importance in the entire community. And here lies our role and responsibility. We have so long our approach was, we used to, this is by and large, not for all, but by and large the practice was this: we prefer to stay within our comfort zone, within our silo, or in a harsh way within our own cocoon. Now that time has come, we have to come out of our own, this boundary or Lakshman Rekha or silos and to embrace the other subjects as well. That's why I stopped Saroni to introduce me saying all these past records of which I am holding. That don't have any relevance right now because I follow the culture of Ramakrishna Mission. The monks, they do not prefer to divulge their past identity because this past identity means if you remember all these things, then you develop a tendency to get yourself dragged to the back and or some bias to many aspects. And that I do not want to this pursue these types of bias and all these things. For me, each and every subject is important. So when people introduce me, he was from chemistry, chemical engineering, chemical technology. This doesn't have any meaning right now. Right now, the importance is I would like to see the intermingling of all the subjects with the evaluations of theory of everything or subjects for all, all sorts of utilizations and looking at the problem from different perspectives, different angles, different approaches, and that is required. We need to develop this culture as quick as possible. And many times, this is because of our inertia, our mental inertia. We are not getting ourselves engaged in these types of practice. We always think that what is our subject or what is our area or what is our thought process or what is our vision, that is sacrosanct. But this is not like that. The system is like this. We need to take keen interest in other areas rather than of my own. We need to look at others rather than looking at the mirror to see myself only. So that is the approach we need to embrace now. And with this, I believe that this has enough potential, but right now the responsibility is on us how to make it more, this formidable and effective in the form of designing the curriculum, in the form of bringing many resource persons from
We can't hear your voice. Prem?
Sir, some internet connected. It is connecting, sir.
It has sent, huh?
Yes, it is connecting, sir.
Okay.
Okay, I got disconnected for a while because of this network issue. So, and now in this virtual platform, one of the culture has emerged. Can you hear me? Can you listen me? Can you see me? All those things. So I have to repeat it again. Can you hear me? Or can you see me? Okay. So this is a new normal of this virtual world. Everything has its own limitation, but to the best possible way, you have to embrace all these things. That's why I have, checking the help for 2-3 mobile connections and Wi-Fi connections. When one is off, I try to switch over to other to make it, this agile. Still, there are limitations, but of course, the thing is that we have to use the thing as maximum as possible. That is what is in our hand. That I believe. Now, right now, in our hand is. We know the subjects of travel tourism. We know the subjects of VR and AR. Now the thing is, let us have a proper mixing, handshaking, intermixing and handshaking of these two subjects together to make it a formidable one for the benefit of everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Now I would like to hand over the session to Professor Shomin Mukherjee, sir. He is moderator of the webinar. Professor Shomin Mukherjee is head of the department. Imagine
Something like, sir, don't need to tell because of so many times. So let me start this. Okay.
Okay, sir. Then over to you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Harini. Respected Vice Chancellor, sir, and respected panelists, respected colleagues, my dear friends, and my beloved students. A very good morning to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, why we are today? Do we have any agenda? We want to discuss is today one of the most happening subject in the world, which is emerging technology, including AI, ML. You know, emerging technology means all the emerging technologies. I'm not talking only XR. It is a combination of AI, ML, robotics, AR, VR, MR, XR, and all this kind of subjects. Okay. Basically, this is a huge impact nowadays in different kind of arena. But here today, we will discuss about the media and the content development, travel and tourism, transmedia and future entertainment domain and all this. Now, let me start my talk with a small quote of Heger. দেখা হয় নাই চক্ষু মেলিয়া ঘর হইতে শুধু দুই পা ফেলিয়া একটি ধারে শীষের উপর একটি শিশির বিন্দু. That is the major part of us. You know, we do not seriously do not have seen many things. Probably for Dr. Misra, I have to give a little bit of translation of this. That we don't care to see the beauty near to our doorsteps, okay, and a small dewdrop glittering on the waving stick of a
Dr. Misra knows better Bengali than you.
No, probably not. Probably not. He said that I do not know. So, however, the question is that we have today we seriously have a very interesting topic. Probably MAKAUT is the first university in India who are just discussing this kind of esteemed topic first time in the webinar world in this pandemic. Our topic today is how to build VR AR tourism career with the help of emerging technology. In short, the entire discussion is, you know, surrounding with the VR tourism. Okay, we have a broad outlines of the topic to be covered in the panel. We want to discuss a little bit of tourism industry in the post-COVID pandemic situation, the job market of the tourism industry in the new normal situation, and the programs and the critical skills required for this particular, you know, implementation of this particular system. Now, after that, I will definitely ask the panelists to answer some question. All the students are request put their question in the chat. I want to give another good news also. We also share a feedback form to the students and post this session. Once you send this feedback form to us, we'll give you the certificate of participation. Probably, ma'am already introduced everyone. Okay, so sir, this is sir's permissions and other sir's permissions. Let me start this webinar now. My first question is to Dr. P.K. Misra. Mr. Misra, Dr. Misra, considering the COVID-19 pandemic, WFH means work from home adoptions, okay? You see that any changes in the way of organizations, institutions handle archaeological work? How archaeological work are coping with this situation? And most importantly, if you use these terms that socio-Indian cultural history. Over to sir.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, sir. Samir sir, PK Mr. sir, mic is not working right now. I'm trying to solve the issue.
Is it? I didn't know this. However, then go to the next question. I will ask the same question.
You ask the same question to Mr. Chopra. He all answers.
Okay, Mr. Chopra, can I repeat these questions for you?
Yeah, but then you are asking me how the archaeological department will change.
No,
I think
not
Mr. Mishra.
archaeological department. Not archaeological department. Then you answer that multimedia department or the media
See,
department.
let me tell you what the questions you have already sent to me. One of the questions said, what is how can the AR, VR can enhance or add, contribute in the tourism business? So let me answer that. See, today, first of all, tourism is very becoming very popular because everybody wants to explore as much as possible during one lifetime, but our one lifetime is too short to visit every place possible to visit. So now, because if you want to visit one place, maybe you have to take a air ticket and you have to go, and there are hazards there are requirement of visa, there are requirement of many other things. But with AR, I can have near life experience and real experience sitting in my drawing room in a matter of hours, what I will actually get by spending a week. This is the biggest advantage of VR AR. Second is there are places where, because of my physical condition, because of my old age, because of lack of fitness, I can't visit. I can't today visit possibly, very high altitude places like uh, Nefa, or I can't visit Kailash Mansarovar. But I have a desire that before dying, I should visit Kailash Mansarovar for a spiritual reason. You can virtually give me an experience of visiting, Kailash Mansarovar, sitting in my drawing room and, not hazarding and taking risk of, my life or my, oxygen problem and all these things. I can visit a person of 85-year-old can easily visit Kailash Mansarovar and have the same kind of experience. We are also having in India many places where are very difficult. There are caves, which is you have to go inside. Even the fittest of the fit person cannot go unless you are really wanting to. This kind of adventure tourism is possible for a people, old man, to do with AR VR. So the AR VR will increase the scope of experiences which are now restricted to very small percentage of people. It will open to everyone. And you see, this can, once it is done, then like we collect the uh, franchise or we collect the tickets, that kind of revenue model is there. People can
हाँ
actually
बोलो
be
प्रेम.
sitting in there, and the number of places visiting possibilities also increases. Suppose in my limited lifetime, I want to visit 500 places, as we have that, books on saying 500 places to visit before I die. Now that 500 places otherwise physically not possible for a human being to visit in a lifetime. But with AR, VR, I can visit these 500 and maybe more places sitting in my drawing room, because the time taken to visit these places gets reduced from 1 week to maybe 1 hour. So therefore, there is a great possibility of using AR, VR in tourism industry. It will increase tremendously the scope of tourism industry in times to come. And as the technology will become smarter and smarter, there'll be hardly any difference between the real experience and the virtual experience. It will be almost the same, and virtual experience will at times to come will become even more enriched, because you can add a lot of elements which real experiences you can't do. So I'm visualizing that at times to come people will opt for virtual experience more than the real experience. This can also happen, because in cinema you can create a lot of things which can't happen in real life. So that's a big advantage of virtual experience. So I think there's a tremendous scope in tourism industry, and this is going to be exploited very soon, sooner than we think.
Thank you, sir. Let me give you a kind of a small word from Gita. I think, and already DC sir told us something, sir, some very important thought. Okay. So corroborate these two, your discussions and visitors' discussions. I'm just telling you something from this. That Sanjay was right in front of Dhritarashtra and granted with the saga of Bishop Pitamaha. There is the action of the climax battle of Kurukshetra. Dhritarashtra probably using VR on that time, you know. So it is very much true that whatever not possible for you to watch in your lifetime, you can watch that thing in your bedroom. Now, I think Dr. Mishra is ready. Dr. Mishra, should I ask the question or?
Oh, sure, sure. There was some problem with the audio and video,
No
so I'm
problem, sir.
late.
No problem, sir.
Uh,
Sir,
yes.
considering this COVID scenario, considering this pandemic, okay, and kind of a work from home adoption, okay. Can you tell me that is there any difference of the handling archaeological work, which is basically in the field or in the lab? Okay, how you cope with this means what is your idea? And another very interesting point is that the social India cultural history, you know, how you can take care of this too.
You see, what I would like to suggest you at the moment, that this VR is a very new thing, very new introduction to the Indian scenario. And what I feel personally, it is one of the very, very useful and important instrument by which we can give a big projection to the archaeological sites all over the world. As you know, that we, like you take the example of India, we have got more than 80,000 sites all over the country. And there are many important sites. If you take the World Heritage sites, even to World Heritage sites, if the tourists, if the scholars go, they are not in a position to know or see the full site. For example, there is one World Heritage site that is a prehistoric site in Madhya Pradesh known as Bhimbetka. You know, Bhimbetka is spread up in around 12 kilometers area. A person who is a senior citizen, it is very difficult for him to go and visit the site. It is very difficult for him to know the details of the site. What is there, how that prehistoric evolution is mentioned there. We have got evidences of old Stone Age, Middle Stone Age, late Stone Age, microliths at one site. So in that, I feel this VR program is most useful program, which is very economical. A person, a scholar, a tourist can sit at home, and from home he can see what is the site. He is more educated about it. He has more informations about it. Otherwise, if we go there and we see, of course we see it physically, but we are not in a position to know much about the site. Whereas with this VR, with this visual, we can have more and more knowledge. One point. Secondly, what I feel is this VR for archaeological investigations, it is very useful to the archaeologists and scientists. Tell me how. There are so many sites. Take the example of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Take the example of Angkor Wat. Take the example of, Potala Palace, which is very famous in Tibet. To reach this Potala place, it is very difficult to go there and see complete picture of that monument, of that site. So on that, sitting at home with the visual, sitting in office, we can carve the history in a proper way. We can justify our work, what is its importance, how many phases are there, what are the developments in that monument, because showing monument is not our purpose. Our purpose should be to educate, the common mass, the educated persons, the persons who are going there. So all these are very useful with this visual. But we have to think about it, how best we can introduce this visual, because I think Professor Mukherjee, I had a talk with you, and I can gather that it is not a very, it's very costly affair, you know, it's very expensive. And in the present scenario where we are going with all these problems, introduction of this visual will be very good, but how to implement it, how to raise the finance for it, how to raise the experts for it will be very difficult. But there is no doubt in it that it is very useful.
Mr. Ji, there is two parts of it. One part is the development part of it. Another part is experience part of it. For experiencing, you do not have to spend much money. Absolutely, it is a kind of lesser cost than your mobile. Okay, but to develop a correct VR movie, yes, it is a little costly at this moment, but gradually you already check that Reliance already have certain head HMD devices, which is very low cost, and before that the HMD cost was very high. So it is not true for the user level; it is true for the development level. However, my next questions to uh, Miss Shaw sir, it's a very simple question. Why I'm asking these things, I want to endorse this particular answer. And after that, we want to use these things to the students to explain that why we adopt, why travel and tourism department adopt that thing. That in the new normal situation, what would be the scenario of the tourism industry? It will go up, it will go down. What was the status of that? And what is your prediction of the entire industry that no, there will be absolutely a problematic situation, and we have to have certain alternative. So over to sir. Over to
Okay.
sir.
Thank you, Professor Mukherjee, and good morning to all my esteemed panelists and our honorable Vice Chancellor and the participants. It's really that's a very interesting question, but Professor Mukherjee, as you already know, this is one particular sector, travel, tourism, and hospitality. It's a global industry. It's a global industry, and although in this pandemic situation, in fact, this industry has seen a lot of challenges over the years. It has seen a lot of challenges, and there had been the economic crisis also some time back. Then the other types of natural calamities. A lot of things has been happening, and that all affects tourism. Whenever something like that takes place in any part of the world, it affects tourism. But by and large, this is one particular sector that we are confident that we are going to come up again. They're not going to be lying down on account of this pandemic. There is the revival, and we are going to thrive again. And it's something that we say that it is inbuilt, it is inside us, as Honorable Vice Chancellor sir was saying, that to explore other countries, other areas, that is paramount in us, and that someday or the other we have to come out of the cocoon, as you were rightly saying. We are not going to be kept bound in this four walls of our house or four walls of wherever we are. So we are going to come out, and we are going to explore the new avenues, the new areas. We are going to get the new experiences. There are challenges, and within this challenge itself, wherever there is a challenge, there is an opportunity also. So there is this big opportunity. Everybody knows that this sector, this tourism industry and hospitality industry, they account for almost 10% of global GDP. And out of every 10 jobs, one job is connected with tourism and hospitality. So it is a very, very important sector. There is no reason to say that it is going to be like that for a long time. Although, as Dr. Pradeep Chopra was rightly saying, that it's difficult. The long haul travel will take some time. By long haul, I mean to say going to the other countries. But the neighboring places are domestic places close to where we are staying. That place has started opening up, and people have started either going to those places by their own vehicle, by driving themselves with their family to certain places which are still, I won't say virgin, but not very much crowded, less crowded, of the beaten tracks. There are places which is off the beaten tracks. There are popular destinations, lesser known destinations, and there are destinations which are still further lesser known than that also. And those places have not been marketed. Those places are not very well known. And now these are the places where people are trying to go, where they feel that this pandemic situation is not going to affect them much there. Wherever there is a crowd, there will be the question of the present normal social distancing, wearing of the mask, etc. There, everything has become digital. You have to check in the hotel digital wise. You have to make payment digital wise. There is no handshake. There is all namaste thing, and the normal is different for a hotel industry now. The hotels have opened out, but they are having only 30% of the occupancy. That is what the Department of Health and Welfare has told them, that not more than 30%. Even the restaurants, whatever is their capacity, they cannot open out up to that capacity. So this is one particular sector where it is going to be there. You can say it's a phase now. It's slightly dormant. It's a volcano, active volcano. Sometimes it becomes dormant, but it is going to burst out again. And when it will burst out, I tell you, Professor Mukherjee, that the people who are without jobs, that time there will be a huge rush of jobs and people will be flocking, and the students who are studying in the travel tourism sector and the hospitality sector, they will find that they have to work on several shifts, morning shift, afternoon shift. They are not able to cater to the requirements. They have to work very hard. They have to work in several shifts. So it's just a matter of time, and we will see that. We will see that. It's one particular sector, as I told you, it is going to revive. It has already revived on a slow note, but it is going to revive in a bigger way and a faster way. And it's a situation where, those who are able to follow up the stakeholders who recognize these opportunities and who follow these normals are the ones who are going to come out of this situation, and they are the ones who are going to thrive faster, and they'll be the first ones to thrive. I hope I have been able to answer your.
Yeah, rightly said. So, sir, rather have a big silver lining in this, and though it is a global problem, he said that, okay, definitely we will overcome, people will start again and all this, but we have some data from some good institution, okay? It's probably FMC to say that already 70% down. It will take another at least 2 years to revive the industry, and that from that 70% it will go down further, and it will take more time to achieve their today's position. At least it will take 3 to 4 years down the line, because of we got a kind of a certain what he said absolutely rightly, that we'll prefer to go to the empty places and all this, but I personally think that it will take seriously 3 to 4 years. But within these 3 to 4 years, if your student learn little bit of VR, AR and all this, don't you think that again they will be in a position to go ahead after their graduation from your department?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're right. As normally we say before buying a product, before buying any product, or so tourism and a destination is also like a product. Tourism product is like any other product. So when you are buying any particular product from the market, you want to have a feel of it. You want to know more about it. And so obviously, even in the tourism sector now, in this pandemic situation, if somebody has to go somewhere, first they have to know about that. And this, this technology, the emerging technology, I would say this advanced technology of AR, I mean, augmented reality and virtual reality and mixed reality, all these things are going to play a big role. I understand, and the youngsters, the students, if they take up this particular course and they are with the travel agent, like anybody wanting to sell a package, and if you are wanting to sell a package to a family for going to some places, including the hotel booking, including the sightseeing, the guided tour, everything, if a feel of that can be projected to them through this media or through this virtual reality and augmented reality, I'm sure the product will sell faster. And as Dr. Chopra was saying rightly, that now the situation is that you have the urge of going somewhere, irrespective of the age. As Dr. P.K. Misra was also saying, there are a lot of our archaeological sites, World Heritage sites. They are spread out in a huge area, several kilometers. Say, for instance, Nalanda University. I mean, if you go to Nalanda University, it is spread out in such a big area. Even for a youngster to cover the entire area, it takes a lot of time and he becomes tired. For instance, Indian Museum in Calcutta is one of the largest museums of Asia. The number of galleries, if you have to walk, and it's an old building, where you have the staircase. I'm sure all of us have gone to Indian Museum. You have seen that big staircase. You have to climbing from ground floor to first floor itself, you become exhausted. You see, and then you have got those marvelous galleries. Once you have climbed the stairs, it's slightly painful, but once you are in the galleries, you will enjoy. Now, if we are able to show through this virtual reality to the elderly persons, as Dr. Chopra was saying, the senior citizens who will find difficult to climb these stairs, and if we are able to show them through this technology of ours, the Indian Museum or our culture, all our tradition, and all the monuments that we have. For instance, Dr. Misra was saying about Bhimbetka caves. Take, for example, Ajanta and Ellora caves. If there is a lot of people entering into those caves, it affects the cave also, their design, their paintings that has been done there. They are all fresco paintings. We're already seeing in the Ajanta paintings that they are slightly fading because these are fresco paintings. So we have to now restrict. The tourism has to become sustainable. The number of people visiting a place should be limited. We cannot have the place overcrowded. Whether it's a national park, game reserve, or a monument, everything has a capacity, carrying capacity. If you overload it, it may overturn. It might become, and we have what I say that, as Dr. Misra was saying, our tradition, our culture, our heritage needs to be kept intact for many future generations to see that this is what we were, this is what our ancestors were. So I feel the role of AR and VR now in this particular situation, or even otherwise also, even if the pandemic is over, I think this technology will thrive and it will be very, very helpful for the tourism sector and hospitality sector, and that will be beneficial to both the seller and the buyer, both the consumer as well as the seller.
By the way, I'm requesting all the speakers that we got a huge number of good question, very interesting question. At least we just spent 20% of the entire questionnaire. So be brief. Now we have with us a budding entrepreneur in VRR domain, Mr. Anjan De. He is from VRR Academia. He rather infused me that thing that sir, definitely that VRR will go and that travel industry will go down. So I'm asking Anjan that exactly how you come to that conclusion that virtual reality will be a very, very important part, important wings of the tourism industry. Be brief. Huh?
Good morning to respected panelists and good morning to all. Uh, like, it's my privilege and honor to represent VR Air Academy in this platform. Actually, VR Air Academy is a virtual and augmented reality training organization dedicated to transforming how content is delivered and consumed globally by creating experts and trainers on VR Air who could integrate VR Air in schools, news and media and hospital engineering and various industries, even in retail. Now, it was very interesting, interestingly said by Mr. J.P. Shaw. And sir, coming to your question, I have some statistic by World Travel and Tourism Council, that is WTTC, says that world tourism market is approximately $9 trillion. Okay, and again, world after COVID, World Tourism Organization said that is downsizing by 60 to 80%. Okay, what I strongly believe after this pandemic, in this pandemic situation, people will be scared to travel. Yes, definitely. And after this pandemic situation, people will be choosy to travel. Okay, so that is the basic difference, like the conventional aspect before COVID and after COVID. So I strongly believe virtual reality has a major role to play over here. As I said, that people will be choosy to travel. Okay, so in other way, virtual reality platform going to encourage conventional tourism industry. I think both of the things will go hand in hand, and people will be more interested about virtual reality platform before visiting the place practically.
Well said, very brief answer by Anjan. People will be very choosy and careful. That is another very interesting part of it. It is not inculcated in the systems, it is inculcated in their heart.
Yeah.
That they don't want to go, rather they will prefer to watch something, uh, at least for the coming few years. Now, another budding entrepreneur who are in this VR domain, but in a different, with a different gadget. They are the drone people, you know. Now I'm coming to Manish. Manish, can you tell me that how drone industry is connect with the VR industry or tourism industry? Okay, I will not use that VR industry anymore. I'm using now tourism industry. So just tell me that how it is connect with that. Manish, sound, audio. Monish, just check the audio. Before that, I'm just asking the same question to Anjan. Anjan, what is the compliance issues in drone in our country to impart in this particular area? Is there any big problem? Pick it up and we'll ask you the same question afterwards.
Yeah. Yes, there is some compliance issue in India. Okay. On 1st December 2018, Government of India made it legal that flying drone in India. Okay. And after that, in 2019, the government made a roadmap. Okay, where, and we call it a Civil Aviation Regulation Guideline 1, where they said that only FTOs and ATOs, FTO means Flying Training Organization and ATOs mean Authorized Training Organizations, are entitled to provide license to the drone pilots. Okay. Then that's why the market, like we could not be able to find authorized drone pilot who will fulfill the DGCA norms. Okay, it's difficult to find that. Okay. After COVID, government realized the importance of drone Okay, and in January 2020, government came up with the draft civil aviation regulation norms 2, where they are relaxing the drone pilot licensing procedure, as well as they are going to open up drone market for the consumers as well. So as I said, I'm from the VR industry. Drone is one of the integral part of VR industry, VR platform. Okay, but we are hopeful. We are absolutely hopeful that after it might be in the end of 2020 or 2000, early of 2021, government is going to endorse this civil aviation regulation too, by which the drone market will be open and we'll be able to use it freely with by fulfilling DGCA norms, and we'll be able to find a lot of drone pilots.
Great. Probably he answered both the questions.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, audible. I will go to the next question because of that answered by Anjan. I'm going to Dr. Misra. Dr. Misra, tell me one thing. Before that, I'm just asking the scenario of your archaeological department and the business and the students and all this. Now I'm asking a very straight question to you: that is virtual reality got any role in your archaeological department? Do you think so? If yes, little elaboration, please.
You see, virtual reality has got very important role in the department. But only thing is that we have to introduce it, we have to convince, we have to tell the archaeologist and the administrator that what is its importance. To be very frank and true, it is just the beginning. The virtual part of it has got so much of importance. It has got its own value. It has got its own thinking for the scholars, for the tourists. For example, if you take Indian Museum, if you go to Bharut Gallery, you just go and see the Bharut panels, Bharut sculptures, that's all. But I have seen in British Museum, there is Bharut Gallery where they have got some kiosk. In that kiosk, they are giving a virtual figure of Bharut Gallery. They are taking us to Bharut, which is in Madhya Pradesh. They are taking us back to the 2nd century AD. And I can see tourists are paying fees for that in the same gallery to see that what was Bharut, how the Buddhist art developed, how the Buddhism spread up. So all that is included in that virtual things. So what I feel in India personally, it's a very new introduction and it needs a detailed, marketing. Unless and until we make a very strong marketing among the archaeologists, among the administrators, I'm sure if once they are convinced, this will be a very popular and very important thing for all to see. So that is very important here, that how we should introduce this and we should make a good marketing of it. This kind of webinar is really a very interesting webinar. Whosoever must be seeing, they will understand what is this virtual thing which is going to make archaeology more popular, more close. One will know what is archaeology. Nowadays, what is happening, even the students and elites and scholars, they just go and see the monument. They just go inside. But going inside the monument, they are damaging the monument also. If you send the huge rush to the monument, with that energy, you are spoiling the monument. I have seen in one monument in Australia, it's a World Heritage Monument, and in that monument, they have made the replica of that monument. Tourists are going in the replica, and after replica, when they are going down, they charge $10 to show the original monument on dynamite. they will put some fixtures and they will say now anybody is interested to see the original monument. Every tourist is surprised to see that, oh, now we have moved to the replica. So original monument is lying there and they are saving that monument. You would be surprised what is the dating of that monument? That dating of that monument is 1600 AD. Can you imagine? They are preserving the monuments like this. Here, going to Nalanda University or to Vikramshila or to the Hadappan sites, Rakhigadi, we just climb the sites. We just go and we damage the sites. So this your visual program, this visual program will safeguard the monument also. But that doesn't mean that people should not be allowed to go to monument physically. After all, going and seeing the monument physically has got another charm, you know. When we reach, suppose if we see the mosque and if we see the god nearby, it is more interesting. If you have to do the puja of Kaliji sitting at home, that won't be very good for our mind. And if we go to Kalighat and have a darshan of Kaliji at the Kalighat, that will be more interesting. So we have to compensate both the things, you know. We have to see how best we can extract from this kind of visual tourism, visual things, but there is no doubt in it that archaeologically, for archaeological visitors, for archaeologists, it is one of the best thing which one can have.
Thank you, sir. You said that popular, that beer can make it popular. I'm just taking 10 seconds and I'm just giving some ideas that we have in here. We can do the ethnography, lifestyle engineering, and all this of that particular period through here very easily. So it will be much more vibe, much more live in the future. What you have to do a lot of time you have to spend on that, it will not be there. Now the next question is Chopraji. Chopraji, can you tell us that emerging technology like VR, AR, XR, and all these things, do you think that seriously help you to showcasing our heritage and other things, or just people are using that is the reason? Means, do you think from your heart that yes, this is the way you can do this? Like, we need some feedback from you.
See, we had already discussed that the VR AR can be used for showcasing our heritage properties, heritage sites to people who physically cannot visit those sites. They can also be used for promoting those sites. That means you can.
Sir, yes, you answered this. Okay. What I seriously want to know from your end, that what is the modality, you know, like in your that Murshidabad or something, you know, like live Shiraj, live all these things. I want to know that thing from your end.
No, you see, you can add on to the you can add on to the experience of the tourist when they are, you know, experiencing something like light and sound show. Now, light and sound show right now, which is happening today, let's say in Amer Palace. Amer Palace, you can only see, you know, some projections or some sound effects and all that. But there is a possibility that I can actually see in Chittorgarh Fort, the army of, you know, the Mughal army or the army of Alauddin Khilji waiting, and Padmavati or somebody coming. The entire scene can be recreated the way you see on the film screen. You can actually see three dimension, the whole thing happening at the Amer Fort site. So that will be something fantastic. That is something like a out of the world experiences. People will pay any amount of money to see this kind of. See, today I can go to Haldighati and actually see the war. I can go to Palasi, where right now there is nothing but a barren land. I can see actually the Siraj fighting the Clive, East India Company, that Battle of Palasi happening. So all those recreation is possible, at the site in the evening after the dark, or maybe also in the twilight. So these will tremendously add the experience of the visitors and the tourists, and I think that will be a biggest selling point. We have many such sites. Today we go to Hampi, we only see the old, broken or destroyed thing, but we can see Krishnadev Rai, and we can see the, the famous battle where the Hampi was destroyed by the four Bahmani sultans. So all these things are possible. It will be a great educative experience. It will be entertainment experiences, and amazing things can be done. See, I would feel that not only tourism, virtual reality shows will become a great tools for education. See, it will also, like what I'm seeing in Discovery or Animal World, where I'm only seeing a single screen projection, I can be taken to that jungle where I can see the tiger from very close distance and actually experience, what is happening in that tiger abode. So all those amazing experiences are possible. You see, not only tourism, it can become a great tool for education. I can be in an operation theater without being physically there and see how a very complicated operation is being done by a surgeon. So all these are possible. These possibilities will open up with VR.
So from Chopraji's word, what we have now, that tourists can go to Palashi, cannot see that Palashi is where, but with the VR, they can see that. Tourists can go to Harappa Mohenjo-daro, but they can see the Kandahar part of Harappa Mohenjo-daro, but they cannot experience exactly what was Harappa Mohenjo-daro. Great, sir. Sir, I will go to Shaw, sir. Sir, tell me a very simplified way that you got a curriculum. Okay. Do you think that your curriculum got a space to put VR in that? If you got that space, I can talk to VC sir. This sir, they got space, so we can use our course also little bit in this. Do you think that it's not overloaded? Can you spare a little bit of space? And if you feel it is seriously important and interesting for the students.
Professor Mukherjee, as you are aware, now all the HODs and departments have been requested to format the syllabus as per CVCS. In that there is a possibility of downsizing some of the areas of that syllabus and introducing something new also in it. So we have already planned it out, and we have in fact included AR VR also as one of the subject in our syllabus. All right, because we feel that this is very important now for the students and for tourism sector and for the youngsters who are learning this, taking up travel and tourism as their career. Because selling today of any product is a challenge, that I can tell you. It's very difficult to convince a customer. And by means of virtual reality, by means of this particular app and this particular technology, they will be able to showcase the itinerary, the package that they are trying to sell. All right, and that will be convincing for the customer. In fact, I feel that future is for VR vacations. We had the normal vacations, but now is the time is coming that the next thing in line will be VR vacations, virtual reality vacations. So it's very, very important, and we have already introduced that, and we will be putting up that in the Board of Studies, and it will be going to our Honorable Vice Chancellor. I'm sure he will agree to that also. We have already put in that AR and VR as one of the subject as part of our syllabus. Isn't it, Sarani Bhomik? Are you there? She's not anywhere, but I tell you that we have already included that as one of the subjects in the travel and tourism syllabus.
So Thank you, sir. So my question to Anjan, that VR vacation, what he said, okay? For any vacation, what we do, we are going to YouTube or we are going to hotel site. We are just checking that thing, that exactly how is that place and all this. So we already have all this, isn't it? That hotel documentation is there, hotel information is there, and the place information is there. What extra you will give in your VR that people will jump in into VR?
Thank you very much for your question. I often come across this question by a lot of people actually. People often compare with YouTube and virtual reality. Okay, just now you said by your question that you could see. Yes, we could see, sir. We could, but we could not experience. Through VR, we could experience that. Okay. So just I'll take an example. Sir is there, Mr. Chopra is here, and with his permission, I would like to take the example of Murshidabad. Murshidabad, we are working closely on Murshidabad with iLead and MAKAUT. Okay, in Murshidabad, basically, we are going to recreate the history in the virtual reality platform so that the user could able to feel the essence of Hajjatwari. In another project we are working on, that is a heritage, it's a heritage property, that's a palace actually, which is going to be transformed to a heritage hotel. Okay, there is a virtual reality walkthrough we are making, by which people could able to experience the history as well as the futuristic luxurious hotel property. So as I said, that basically virtual reality is the experience. You are experiencing it before getting into the reality.
Great, Anjan, great. It's a very interesting answer, but I'm taking a cue from Anjan's answer that that experience, Monish, with that experience, are your drone are connected or that's a different experience?
Actually, Anjanda is right. Here, drone and VR can do a different thing. Okay. Basically, if you look after the application areas of drone, actually drone is work as a camera carrier device. It's most of the related with the cameras, and VR gives you the experience level. Okay, so when you mix up those two technology together, it will give you a wide area of experience without any risk. So for an example, I can give you, if you are want to go a real place and you want to build a building, but you want to see that building is already built there. Actually, you just need to fly a drone without the simulator system, with a simulator system and a software process where the 3D model of your building is there. Then you could able to see the real building in the VR system, that the building is already exist. The drone, wherever it will fly, you could able to see the thing.
Good. Mishra ji, very simple question. Okay. In the archaeological perspective, we think that the use of virtual reality, we could educate people about our cultural and lifestyles of the old age.
You see, this virtual thing, if you go in the archaeological scenario,
Okay, you
ar-
answered. Yeah.
archaeological scenario is a very technical thing, It is when you carve the history of any civilization, you go with its, so you have to see so many factors in it: the economic condition, the social condition, the development of the art, architecture, and all. Basically, it will give us, suppose you are going to a site which had the history of only 200 years. That civilization had the history of only 200 years. There you cannot get much information about the evolution of man, how he was. But if we have the history of any civilization for 500 years, 1000 years, 2000 years, there we can definitely go with this, that we can create in this visual that this civilization had senior peoples, this civilization had the persons who were of old age, and for them you can create in that what was their role in that civilization, how they lived, how they worked, what was whether they were used for the guidance, whether they were used for the planning. So that you can create in this visual, definitely. That needs a very deep study by any archaeologist and expert who can only carve this. You know, it is a recreation. When you go for the visual, if you see one site, then suppose you take the example of Nalanda Monastery. You know, Nalanda Monastery was a monastery where there was no restriction that a person only of 20 years will come for a study. Even Wensang, when he came to Nalanda Monastery, he was 48 years old. And he went like a student inside. He has to pass all exams. You know, gatekeepers were so eminent scholars there that the first exam he has to pass with a very eminent Buddhist scholar, whereas he was known as the first gateway for taking examinations. So here you can, in this type of institution, visual can recreate a very good visual that how the scholars were taught in this kind of monastery, how they were living. Was there any difference between the young, middle, and old age people? So that is very important. You have to work out, you have to go inside the site, you have to know the history, you have to know the details of the site, and then this visual can be prepared. It cannot be prepared in a day or two. It will take years to prepare the full visual. For one site, anywhere in world, if you go, you will see that that site has got the civilization of so many cultures. Matlab, so many phases are there. So because unless and until you give the real history of the site, real history of the monument, the viewers of visual will also like to know the details of it. They would like to know the truth of it. You cannot just create it without making any thing and just take the visual photography. The visual is that what I feel personally is the isometric view of the monument can be recarved. You can create it back how it was looking. So I feel in that all old age people would definitely like to see, and they will enjoy this. They will be more happy to see this kind of visual resolutions.
Thanks. Thank you, sir. This question, the coming question is for two esteemed panelists. One is the same questions to Chopraji and Saucer. Okay. The concept is Chopraji is deeply involved in the heritage preservation. Okay. He is serious. I know he seriously want to do the preservation part of it. And Saucer is in the education. Now these students are seriously damaging this. Of course, other parameters are there, but one of the major influence is the students, and he want to take care of this preservation. And here we have to give a little bit of training to the students. Don't waste it because it is precious. Okay. Do you think that in between VR can come and can show them that exactly this was the future? If you see monument or any temple, that this was the monument, this was Harappa, this was Mohenjo-daro, this was Ajanta, okay? And what we did, what our generation is looking at it, and what about the after that, means the next generation, what they will see. So if we can do this kind of, a kind of an exercise with these two organizations, two different people. Do you think that can we do something for our next generation? Question for Chopraji and Shah sir.
See, when we are doing heritage preservation, which is basically heritage properties either in a very damaged condition or heritage properties which require restoration come modification. Modification, why? Because the heritage property now has to be used for some specified purposes which are other than the original purpose for which it was constructed. That means today there is a palace or a fort which cannot be used as a palace anymore or cannot be used as a fort, but would be used as a heritage hotel or heritage resort. Now, before I start the reconstruction and modification, I should make a virtual model of that, fort, and let the prospective users, like tourists or guests, visit that place and give me their inputs. You see, it is very expensive and very damaging that if I construct and then I figure out there are some mistakes or there are things I should have done differently. It's a very, very expensive way of, reaching that the likes of the target audience. It is better that I create first a virtual model, let the target audience go and visit and give me their feedback, and then use those important feedback in finally arriving at the model which will be the acceptable model or likable model by all the people, and then do the reconstruction or modification according to the feedback I have received from the visitors. See, when I'm doing a simple 3D modeling, I cannot take the visitors inside that and have a virtual experience. So therefore, they will not be able to give their emotional reactions or their feelings of having visited that place after it is completed with due modifications and corrections. In virtual model, they will be actually experiencing their visit and giving me the realistic feedback which can be incorporated while doing the final work. So this is a very big tool. So far we had, we all started with the 2D drawings of the buildings. Then we went to 3D drawings of the building. Then we went for virtual walk. Now we are going virtual reality, which is a step further where the target audience will actually have an experience which they will have once the building is completed and give us the right kind of feedback so that those important feedbacks are incorporated in final design, and then according to that design the building is constructed. It is much cheaper, much better way of constructing the building since we have a tool available today. So this is a great tool in arriving at the final design of the heritage building restoration and its modification for its new use, which was not originally envisaged. When the fort was constructed, it was not envisaged to be converted into a resort. Now it is converted into resort. So there are hundreds of ways of doing it to convert it into resort. What is the best way? What is the way which the audience or which the target visitors would like to have? So that important feedback I can get by creating a virtual model of the modified fort, which is earlier not possible when VRER was not available. So this is one big advantage. The other advantage, of course, is that we can always, showcase this as a modified fort once it is done to different people. And before they are actually coming and staying, they can actually virtually experience without leaving their place of home and compare the experience in 3-4 different sites and then decide where they would like to go, which place appeals them the most. So it can always be a good marketing tool subsequently, but more than that marketing tool, it will be a good tool for us to finally arrive at the design which we will follow to construct that or bring that construction. So these are the two applications I can see in heritage preservation process.
See, what as far as we see that VR videos, the virtual reality videos are something, it's an invaluable tool, I would say. And they are these videos can provide each and everything that someone is looking for. I mean, something to know. And if we have, as Dr. Chopra was rightly saying, for instance, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, along with Ministry of Culture and Department of Archaeology, has started an initiative called Apni Dharohar, Apni Pehchan, our heritage. Apni Dharohar, Apni Pehchan. So the preservation and conservation and maintenance of our monuments is very, very essential for the future generation and the present generations also to know how our ancestors used to live, what were their food habits, what were their, culturally, or their dress code, what was that? So if we are not maintaining these monuments, and if they're not keeping those monuments intact, there'll be a time when we will not know anything about our past, about our, our forefathers and our great grandfathers and our ancestors. So this ancestral thing needs to be preserved. And as you are saying, Professor Mukherjee, in between, if we have a VR video to showcase, like as Mr. Chopra was saying, and I will add here that these hotels, heritage hotels, we have in the Government of India Tourism Department grading of the hotels. Like we have the normal grading of the normal new buildings graded into 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 1-star. Similarly, for heritage hotels, there are grading which is called heritage, heritage classic, heritage grand. In that case, the heritage property is kept intact. Only the interiors are slightly modeled and remodeled for the, suiting the customers and the clients' needs, the tourist needs. But the external facade, external design is kept intact, so that when you are reaching that particular, that particular heritage resort or a heritage hotel, you can make out that you are going 100 years behind. Lake Palace, Udaipur, for instance. Yeah. So these type of properties, when you are reaching, you are immediately transferred back 100 years back. And the people moving in the buggies, you are with the turban and all that. So you have that different feel. So through our VR videos, we can showcase to the youngsters, this is how this used to look like, and this is how it is looking like now. So are you wanting it to have it look in this condition or even worse than this, or you want to keep it intact as it was before, to a great extent as before? So a role of VR videos will play a major impetus for changing the minds of the young generation. And these do's and don'ts, if we can tell them that these are the do's and these are the don'ts. Long time back, you must have seen there were these videos and audio visuals which Ministry of Tourism had launched with Amir Khan, where you have Amir Khan is at one of the monument and there are young boys and girls who are scribbling their name, "Main tumse pyar karta hu," ya Radha loves Krishna, whatever. So he's saying, "Main kya likh rahe ho?" So you are spoiling the walls of these monuments, spoiling the facade of the monuments. So that is not going to live long. The monuments, as Dr. Mishra was saying rightly, is so huge. So it's very difficult for the Archaeological Survey of India or the Department of Archaeology to post a security man at each and every corner of the fort. It's such a huge fort. For instance, Gar mein Gar Chittorgarh is such a huge fort. That's why it's called Gar mein Gar Chittorgarh. इतना बड़ा किला है. तो कहाँ पे आप आदमी लगाएंगे? Security man is not. It's impossible to post security people at each nook and corner. But we can give a feedback, if we can educate our youngsters through our VR videos, virtual reality, that this is what we should do, this is what it was like, and this is what it is nice now. So what are you thinking now? The earlier one was better, or this one is better, or you want it worse than this, or you want to completely ruin this so that your sons and your daughters and your grandsons would not even know that at this place there used to be a fort, isn't it? So VR will play certainly a it will be an invaluable tool, I will say, and I vouch for it that this should be there. in the as part of the education, not only for tourism but otherwise also. Thank you.
Again, I have another controversial question for Anjan. Do you think that virtual reality is a kind of a threat to the conventional tourism industry?
Sir, well, sir, I think I already answered this question in the first question itself. I'll just give you some statistics, sir. According to the research carried out in Germany by Statista, almost 50% of people would use VR as a tool for choosing their holiday destination. And
then you were telling, is it a threat or not? I need a very clean answer.
So that's why I wanted to give you the statistics. So the point is very simple. VR tourism and conventional tourism go hand in hand. Okay. Basically, virtual reality, VR tourism is going to boost up the conventional tourism market. That's what I personally believe. So it could not be a threat, rather it is blessing to the conventional.
Yes, you are absolutely right.
Undoubtedly, it's an added advantage.
Now, next question to Manish. Do you think that your VR and drone technology, they got a kind of a harness? They can work together. Is it required? Means for every project, do you think that I have to have a drone project along with a VR project, kind of? Do you think so, or do you have some other means, like by drone only we can give a kind of a tourism project? What's your idea? Is these two are going together?
Yeah, actually, sir, VR tourism is a big platform where many kind of technologies are work together. Okay, but to work with this VR tourism, you need to know about 3 basic technologies. Number 1 is drone technology. Number 2 is 360 video, and number 3 how to convert this video into VR. So basically, with the drone, we used to capture the aerial photos, right? So it's drone is a part of the robotics. So you may learn about the robotics part, or you may learn about the programming part of that. But you must have learned how to operate a drone, right? Until unless you learn how to operate a drone, you can't capture the beautiful moment or beautiful things. So you know about the drone technology. The next is the 360 camera. Actually, in here we use 360 videos, right? So to capture those 360 videos, you need to use the 360 camera, and there's a little bit difference with a 360 camera and a normal camera. So you need to know about this 360 camera, how to use this camera, how to capture the videos, how to edit and stitch these videos. And the last one is you have to convert the 360 videos into the VR platform. So for this, you need to know about 2 softwares for VR softwares actually do that. You need to know about the Unity and Unreal. Those are the 2 softwares you have to know. Basically, those are the 3 minimum requirements you have to know for work with the VR technology.
Okay, thank you, Manish. But my next question is to Chopraji. Okay, the last takeaway for the students, exactly from the heritage aspect, from the virtual reality aspect, education, and everything. What is your the advice to the students? What you seriously want the student should learn this, or student should do this kind of? The last, we are absolutely the fag end of our question answer session. This is my last question to all the families. So your takeaway part to the students, what would you be?
See, there is a tremendous scope of making VR, programs for based on history, heritage, and so on. There'll be most of the hotels or heritage resorts will want to get a heritage virtual reality. People would want to have restoration work. So there is professional professional will be required who will have the background of history and who understand history, who are passionate about history, and you are also very comfortable in working with VR and AR softwares, Unity software, who has good, deep understanding of VR, AR technology. Now, anybody who has got this combination of knowledge of history, heritage, and VR, AR technology will be the most sought after professionals, because if so much of work is to be done of AR, VR with history knowledge or history as a content, somebody who has got an understanding of both history and VR, AR will be a rare breed. And any such person will be having a tremendous scope of an opportunity to A, get a job, or to start their own company startup. And I mean, AR, VR setup doesn't require investment in crores. You can start the company with few lakhs of rupees. So therefore, I think there is a tremendous scope, as our VC sir wants that most of the people should make a startup. There is a tremendous scope of startup in this, this combination of history. And I think there is not one, but hundreds and thousands of such companies will be required, because if we really want to do this kind of work, and this work is not only restricted to India, you can go to Southeast Asia, where there will be a tremendous shortage of such professionals. You can go to even European countries and do this kind of work, because I think the entire repertoire of the Discovery Channel and History Channel, the entire repertoire, which is right now in a 2D projection format, will have to be converted into a AR VR experience. And I think that's a huge amount of work. So I mean, the people who will do these courses doesn't have to think about the job opportunity. They'll be flooded with jobs. So I think there's a great opportunity for students to do this work. Only thing is that we educators, we have to prepare a very, very comprehensive syllabus, and we have to have, because there's also a tremendous shortage of resource person who will teach these kind of things. So if we can source the resource person, if we have a good syllabus, I think it's going to be a super hit program.
Thank you, sir. In
Right.
this particular part, I just want to put a little bit of information. I am looking after that's called AR Association. It's in USA. This is global biggest association. I'm their chapter president here. Now we got a big book. Okay, we got more than 5,000 business houses for AR VR. Out of that, 90% is entrepreneur. And we got
90%.
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah, 90%. And that is, you are rightly said, that entrepreneurial part, if we give them, because of, but that it is not require IBM and Cognizant and Wipro and all these big companies. They will never come. So as they will never come, we will not have a job opportunity. But if there is a good startup, then startup will take at least 10 people. If we got 100 startups, there will be 1,000 students can accommodate there. So that is the major ecosystem here. But unfortunately, we didn't check that very much. Now, my question to Mr. Shaw. Should I? Okay. What could be the core application area in VR in your tourism department, where you can put these things? Accordingly, I will make a kind of a documentation, and this is again a kind of pathfinder discussions. So I will deposit that things our honorable VC sir, and I will ask that this is the part. So if you can give a little light, sir.
No, we have added that as part of one of the subject in our curriculum now for travel and tourism, and we need to sit down together, both of us, to see what are the what all we are going to include in it and what will be relevant for the students, because for the students of travel and tourism, they need not go very deep into the technological part of it, but this nonetheless they should be knowing the operational part. As I was saying that these people who are going to be either a startup or going to be an entrepreneur, or who is going to get a job in the hotel industry or a travel agency or a tour operator, they need to have this. Now it is going to be part and parcel of the trade. They cannot keep themselves away from this. Earlier, the modes of marketing and publicity was different. Now, the different means of the modes that they had. Now they have an additional mode of promotional this thing through AR and VR, and that would be more convincing for their consumer, for their customer. So they have to know the operational part and to show them the VR videos, etc. So we need to sit down together and see what are the chapters that can be included as part of the curriculum of travel and tourism. And as I said, and I completely agree with Dr. Chopra, what he has said, that there is a tremendous opportunity. Already the career and prospects in travel and tourism was very high. They can be in airlines, they can be in cruise, they can be on land, on air, on sea, everywhere. They had a lot of opportunities. In that, there is an additional opportunity now with this AR and VR. Those who are knowing AR and VR, requirements for a travel advisor or a post of travel advisor, the advertisement will write the applicant should be familiar with AR and VR operations also, besides foreign language and tourism product, etc. Additional qualification preference will be given to those candidates who are having AR, VR, certificate or qualification, whatever. So I find it's going to be very, very relevant in this particular industry, both travel and tourism and hospitality.
Yeah, Mr. Ji, are you there, Mr. Ji?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, Mr. Ji, the same question in a different way you want to put. Do you also think that in your curriculum you want to put this, or if you want to put this, in what way? Means then accordingly we can discuss in the future. What's your idea in this?
Yeah, very nice. This is I think you are wrapping up the whole program, and the conclusion should be very fine. More or less, I agree with Chopra Sahab and Shah Sahab, what he has said. But I would take you to little difference in it, that you see this AR and VR, our projection to put in it is to educate the mass, educate the tourists, educate the visitors. So we have to see that how much perfect we are. Take the example of archaeology. Archaeology is a science where 2 plus 2 is 4. You cannot make it 2 plus 2, 5. So it needs a very highly technical knowledge person who can give a background of any site for which we are making this AR and VR. It should not be distorted in any way. The distortion thing should never be coming inside, because your AR and VR will be so popular all over the world. It won't be seen only in Calcutta. Anybody in France, anybody in England, they will also see that. So we have to go first about its perfectness, about its genuinity, about its real history, real archaeological background. Secondly, in a country like India, where, all over the world, we Indians are the one who are conserving the monuments in a very different way. Our conservation style is traditional. So we have not used so far cement in any of the monuments. We have not allowed. We are following the traditional way. We have got certain archaeological norms and principles. We have never compromised with that. Whereas British archaeologists, Egyptian archaeologists, they want to give a sort of modern things inside the preservation and protection. But even if they give modern things, still, and we are following traditional method, we are far, far ahead in conserving our monuments. Our monuments, which are of 5,000 years old, we are preserving better than what others are doing. So our man who is preparing this AR/VR, he has to be educated with all these backgrounds, that he should keep in mind that how the technical peoples are working on it, what are the way they are preserving, how it was built. He has to go inside and study that it was nowhere cement was used. He has to study that it was only gitti and lime which was used, and it was so strong. So he has to go inside the whole story and then prepare this VR SR. So my suggestion will be that when we prepare the syllabus of this, when we prepare starting to it, we have to do a lot of homework, and we have to be very selective in choosing the student or anyone how best he can be of great utility in this kind of things. I think you understood what I want to tell you.
Certainly, sir. Absolutely clear.
Thank you.
Absolutely clear. On the contrary, I'm asking Anjan, can you just take a brief time and just ask them that what is possible? Means, what is the beneficial for this particular industry and the education? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, you can use this kind of.
Thank you very much for this question. I was expecting this. I will go with Dr. Mishra and Mr. Chopra and Mr. Shaw. Okay. Please understand, VR is a platform, it's not a technology. A platform where any people coming from any different background could come and excel themselves. So I'll just give one example that it will be easier for the people to understand. Is a conventional filmmaking or VR filmmaking. In conventional filmmaking, you need a storyteller, you need a scriptwriter, you need director, you need editor. In VR filmmaking also, you need VR storyteller, you need VR scriptwriter, you need VR editor, director, and VR editor. Okay, so anyone coming from this historical background, coming from tourism background, coming from any background, might be from media background or animator or editor or software developer, anyone, whoever coming could able to excel themselves in VR industry. And that's why finally I would like to give a statistic. As per the Goldman Sachs global report, the VR AR market in the various sectors within 2025 will be 35 billions. So you could able to understand the wideness of the market. And definitely I will go with Dr. Mishra once again. The person who is going to work has to understand the essence of that particular subject. Then only we could able to replicate that in the VR platform.
And the same question goes to Manish also. Manish, can you tell me the takeaway or what kind of course are applicable for this kind of education? Just the name and all this. We probably running short of time. Prem, are you there? Can you tell me how much time we have? We have to do sum up, and we have to do a question answer session if the time permits. So, Manish, tell me.
Yeah, actually, whenever we talk about drone, people start thinking about the missiles, the army, or photography, etc. But there are lots of application areas of it. So we can use the drone in security, surveillance, logistic purposes, and so on. Actually, to when we applied this thing in VR, you need to know about so many things. You need to know about the drone technology. You need to know about the camera technology. You need to know about the sound system, because the VR sound is different from the normal sound system. Okay, so you need to know about this system. You have to convert that normal video into the VR platform. So you have to know how to convert these videos into the VR platform. For this, you need to know any kind of a few softwares like Unreal, like Unity. You have to know about those softwares also. So basically, for VR, we can use this technology in so many application areas, and also we can nowadays we are also using for tourism application and medical application. Also, you are using VR, AR, XR. So basically, those are the basic things we have to know about this for work with this VR technology and with the drone technology.
Thank you, Manish. I'm absolutely the back end of the entire session. I'm requesting Mr. Raji and Pradeep Chopra ji to sum up the entire session. And before that, the valedictory speech will be Shaw sir. Okay. So after means we will try to take some questions after that. Else we have to finish it up because of already Prem got these indications. We have already forwarded these indications that we are running short of time. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take some questions definitely through the chat only towards the end of this program. We will also share a feedback form with individuals post this session. Once you send this feedback form, all of you will get a certificate of participation. I think that's a very good news. And I am giving the part to P.K. Misra and Pradeep Chopra ji to sum up the entire session. And after that, valedictory, and after that, question answer. Thanks. And I hope
Thank you.
I conclude the entire portion. I hope you people like it, and thank you so very much, all the panelists. Thank you, thank you. We stand you. You know, I'm a little bit confident.
Thank you, Samir Mukherjee. It is so nice of you that you have started this program, and I should rather congratulate our Vice Chancellor that he had given so much of time and he took interest in this. There is no doubt in it that this kind of thing is very, very important in the present scenario, you know, where world is traveling. And the largest effect which has happened in this pandemic time, that is tourism and archaeology and hotel industry has been affected. When you see the data given by the government, we find that the hotel industry has gone to zero. Tourism is also badly affected. And archaeology, you know, when I get the data of archaeological monuments where tourists have visited, we go to 2%, 3%. A place like Taj Mahal, which was every day seen by minimum 50,000 visitors, now, day before yesterday, the director of Taj Mahal told me, ki, sir, it is only 218 people who have visited Taj Mahal, whereas they have got facility for all sanitization and giving all security and everything. But what has happened, ki people are scared all over the world. Ki if we go in this time, how, whether we will be attacked by this kind of disease. So here, if our this VR and SAR technology would have come in a very planned way, in a very successful way, it would have been the best time, you know, the real time for this kind of technology. What we have discussed about it, as Dr. Chopra, Dr. Shaw, and Manish and Anjan De, all have given a very right information about the things. What I feel is a information which needs lot of more input. You know, we have to go to that extent where we can tell that now our things are running very well. We are at the flying stage. At the moment, we are just uh, thinking of picking up. So we have to go to that level where we are on a flying stage, because this AR VR technology is such a great technology. When I was introduced with it, went through the papers. Doctors sitting in Washington, and with the robot technology, he is doing a very complicated operation with VR and this technology in India. So it is very accurate. It is very perfect thing. And technologically, it is very sound. And moreover, as we have discussed, Shah Sahab has given a very good information about heritage hotels. What are the heritage hotels? How it is given recognition. The facade of the hotel is kept in an original form, and inside how we are developing. So all these are very important things which we have to keep in mind when we are working for this kind of technology. I have also suggested you very well that which Anjan has also agreed to it, that the essence, the experts should be totally involved in the subject when we are doing anything about archaeological VR and AR. Chopra Sahab also wants to tell the same thing, that as old people, young people, even the young people, if you take them to one site which is 12 kilometers, I think they won't be very happy to see that whole of the site. And suppose if they sit in this visual kind of things, they will be happy to see the complete details. Here, all of us should think that we should give a very correct data. We should give a very informative data which should not anyway distort our history or archaeology. I think something what I have left, Mr. Chopra will also enlighten you.
But I think Mr. Chopra is Professor Chopra is there.
He got disconnected, I believe.
Huh?
He got disconnected, I believe.
Probably he got disconnected. So the next part is I'm just requesting what do you want that the question should take, or let's validatory session and then question. I do not have much time, so maybe
Just,
1-2 question we can
I think
take.
1 or 2 questions can be taken and then validatory session, and then we stop here.
Okay, so should I take the question now or
Yes,
validatory?
one or two
Achha,
questions
one
there,
question is from Avrodev Mandal to all the panelists. He said that, sir, if virtual reality give this experience of tourism sitting at home, then there will be no job outside on tourism part of it. Okay, so he's pretty happy on that.
I agree with him partially. Partially he's right. Because you know what has happened. Again, I told you in my just discussion that, sorry, going and having darshan of Kali Ji at Kali Ghat, you know, it has got some other feeling. And sitting in visual here, when we see Kali Ji, we have got some different feeling. So let that gentleman understand, it would be more exciting for him if he goes to the site with our visual details.
Absolutely.
If he takes the visual details, he will enjoy going to the site. And not that with that tourism will have any kind of ill effect. Tourism will go there to our sites and monuments. The tourist industry will not have any impact that it will go down if the visual this is there.
Yeah, absolutely. What Dr. Mishra is saying is absolutely right. It's not going to affect the job opportunities at all. It's just an additional tool for promoting tourism.
So, sir,
I mean,
I
watching a cricket match in Eden Gardens, etc., and watching it on your television. You can understand this is what is the. But then it's always to have something, you have something to see before you plan out your journey, before you plan out your tour. If you know about the places and if you get the virtual video, if you are able to see it, then you are already familiar with these places and you will enjoy when you are going in reality in those places, you can enjoy. and even the guiding things and all nowadays with virtual reality, the language problem, etc. And that VR thing will help you even in guiding you in movement in an unknown place. So there are a lot of additional points in it which helps you, and that helps more of tourism, and it's not going to affecting the job opportunities. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've already received that, the time is very short.
If Prem can show that link.
Feedback. No.
Feedback.
Students already feedback
Okay.
form already sent to the screen. As soon as we finish it up, you will get the feedback form. But before that, I am just handed over to Shaw sir to say a few words. At least our partners. Partners of media is Ananda Bazar Group and the VR Academia and that. So, sir, please tell a few words.
Well, thank you, Professor Mukherjee. It had really been a very thrilling and a very adventurous webinar today, because tourism itself is an adventurous thing, and as we were discussing that with the help of this VR, even those who are unable to go to a particular spot on account of his ill health or on account of his overage or account of his even money wise, if you say time factor, this VR is going to play a big role in that. And this particular webinar which we had organized thanks to Professor Samir Mukherjee and of course Mr. Anjan De and Mr. Monish Mandal, and nonetheless Dr. P.K. Misra, the former regional director of Archaeological Survey of India, and Dr. Pradeep Chopra, the chairman of ILEAD Group of Institutions, and above all, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Professor Soikat Maitra, who had been kind enough to be there throughout the session. And it was a very, very informative and very, very a session that must have had benefited to all the participants. And it's something new. I won't say it's absolutely new. It's already very, very popular in the other countries, and it is already penetrated in our Indian subcontinent, and it's growing fast and growing for the better. And as I was saying, it is going to be all VR vacations. That will be a new term
that's a very new term. Use it.
I, from my deep of my heart, I thank all the panelists. Thank you for giving your valuable time and sharing your expertise and your knowledge with all the participants here. And of course, our media team, Anand Bazar Publications, for their support, and our own. Pardon?
Our own team
and our own, of course, IT team, Mr. Prem Kumar and his colleagues, and my colleague from the Travel and Tourism Department, Ms. Sarani Bhaumik. She was there with us in the beginning for some work she had to leave, but I thank her also for joining with us today and giving her time in making this webinar a grand success. And we hope that we'll continue with this type of webinars in coming times also, to educate and to take this forward and to let the youngsters and the new generations know more about this and help them in choosing this particular AR and VR as their career, as their startup, as an entrepreneur. Thank you once again to all of you.
Thank you very much to all the panelists, everybody. I'm requesting Prem, please put these things, the link of your feedback form and other things in the screen, and you can off our part of it. Okay.
Sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mishra. Thank you, Professor Mukherjee.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.